This live stream brought to you by the Excelsior Citizen and these generous sponsors. Our Excelsior Springs Hospital, where better care is right in your backyard. The Simmons Sales Team, your hometown realtors.
Whether we're talking about our dedication to preventing and restoring power outages, our pursuit of safety, or providing the best member experience possible, we are relentless in serving our communities.
Find out how you can advertise with Excelsior Springs' #1 community resource. Visit ExcelsiorCitizen.com today.
Welcome back to the Excelsior Citizen. Today we are going to be talking to the Excelsior Springs Tigers team after their 4th place in-state victory of sorts. Let's go ahead and just start with a sort of recap on your guys' season. Kind of tell me the ups and downs of how that went.
Yeah. So coming off of last year when we took 3rd in the state, we knew we had a really good group coming back. And so, we knew that there was a lot of guys in new spots and maybe some inexperience at places. And so, the big focus for us at the beginning was, as we talked to the boys, is that we don't want to be playing our best soccer in August, but we wanted to be playing our best soccer in November. And so I think you saw with some of the results early on that, we were, I would say at the end, we feel like we could have beaten the teams that maybe we lost to in the beginning. And, we did end up with, 6 total losses, 7,
Yeah.
2 down at state. So, we had 5 throughout the year, and there was a couple there in the early goings that, at the team at the end of the year would have definitely beaten the opponent. But, all those things are important that we learn the lessons along the way. And so it was good to get those guys experience in the early goings. And then, ultimately, all those lessons that we learned, I think, really helped us play our best soccer down the stretch. What do you guys feel like was the biggest turning point in the year?
I think the biggest turning point was Truman when we went down early in that game, and I feel like we just had like a comeback as like a unit, basically, like the whole just atmosphere of like the fans like coming out and watching us play and our team wise, coming off of that win, I feel like that really just shifted our season to where we had more confidence in each other and just on and off the field, and I just felt closer with one another. So
Truman was a great game. I feel like the biggest change or shift in our team was the Winnetonka game, because we had a lot of new players this season and the formation was bound to change a little bit. So we changed up the defense, and that ultimately changed everything else, and it really shifted us into a good direction for the rest of the season.
Yeah, how many places did you guys shift? Did you start in a different position than you ended in?
Well, usually we ran with about 4 defenders in the back, 3
Okay.
midfielders, and 3 strikers. But this year, we decided to kind of switch it up a little bit. We held 2 people back with me and Easton Ryan.
Mhm.
Then we had 3 people with Noah, Braden, and Grayson. Then we had Mason and Brady, of course, and the 3 strikers, Colin, Austin, and Jakey.
Do you guys think this worked better, doing it that way than it did last year, the different way that you had?
Oh, especially with the players we have, like this season, it worked a lot better. Whether that be through communication, us passing the ball, or just anything in general, I feel like it much improved everything.
So would you guys say that you have, as a team, good, companionship and, unity with each other? Are you guys all friends off the field?
I felt like we built it for sure. With everyone coming in, basically, it's just bound to happen. You have the 8th graders coming up, 9th grade, they're new to high school. They're new to you as well, and so you have to just restart, basically, build that relationship with one another, kind of trying to include them and just include them with that. So
I think it's one of the big focuses of our team. We want to make sure that our team chemistry is, very good, because we realize that teams with the best chemistry tend to want to be around each other when things are hard and when things are going well. And ultimately, it's a long year. We started this thing August 9th, so to be here in November, close to the 20th, it's crazy. So if you don't like each other, those seasons typically end a little earlier. So yeah, it's a great thing. These guys really get along. We do a lot of things on the outside, hanging out together. And these guys, even on their own, they're hanging out with each other, and they do a great job of incorporating all the new guys. And it's a really fun group to be around. It really is almost depressing when it's over, because it's like you're like, what do you do now? Like tomorrow, what are we gonna do at 3:00? I know that these guys are gonna do other things, but it's just a special group, special bond that you get with your players, and just great kids to be around.
Yeah, so kind of on that topic of what you guys are going to do now, I'd like to direct a question towards you, Mason. What are you going to do now that you're kind of done with your high school soccer career? What's kind of the goals afterwards?
I want to continue playing soccer, of course. I mean, it's kind of just been my lifestyle for a very long time. It's really hard to let go, so I want to continue playing at Park University, where I'll study business, marketing mainly, while I play soccer. I mean, it's kind of just the goal there.
Yeah, same question goes for you, Deegan. Kind of what is your goal next year? What's something you'd like to improve upon yourself or with the team?
Next year, as a returning player, I'd really like to get back to state, everything like that, give it one last go, one last run. I know there's going to be plenty of shoes to fill, a lot of seniors leaving like Mason and such, so I really just want to make sure I'm stepping up as a leader and getting everyone forward into the new season.
Yeah, and then lastly, for you, Coach, kind of what strategies and experiences did you learn from, the past 3 years that you guys have gone to state that you're going to kind of employ with these new 8th and 9th graders that you're getting?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we have a really strong junior class that's coming back, and the culture is one that we pride ourselves in working extremely, extremely hard. So much so that when we get into the games, that the games are slow. And that's the whole goal with how we practice. You watch practice on August 9th, or if you watch practice last Wednesday when we left, right before we left, you would have seen the same intensity, and that's ultimately the goal going into next year, is that we rely on those juniors that are returning and have them set the tone and the culture from what these guys have grown it to, and the classes before have grown it to. So that we've got a great group of 8th graders coming in. I think there's over 10 8th graders that have played good significant soccer, and we're excited about that. But same time, it's a big jump for them to grind every day, and we want to make sure they're doing it the right way and coming to the culture the way we want them to.
Yeah, so let's kind of shine a light on that kind of culture that you guys have. Are there any interesting pre-game rituals or stuff you do before games that kind of help you prepare? Any drills, any practices, or anything?
Well, before games, it's typically the same drills. We start off with a rondo, and that's usually mine and the guys' favorite thing to do. It gets us going, and then we go straight to warm-ups, and that's where we really kind of get our mindsets locked in. We get our bodies stretched, and we kind of envision ourselves throughout the game, our successes, our failures, and where everything could be going. Then over from there, we do a possession of some sort to kind of get us ready for the bigger style of soccer and movement. Then we do shots and crosses, and that's what gets us ready for those execution moments and those finishing moments.
Yep. So obviously you did all that before your state game. Would you guys like to kind of touch on some moments in that state game that kind of stood out to you? Just any comments about that or anything?
Our first game, obviously it wasn't our strongest game of the season. Definitely not how we hoped it to go. Second half was definitely as you can see, it was a 0-0 second half type score, and if we would really just done that in the first half, it could have been a whole different outcome just later on, next game, that game. So definitely just something that's always going to be thinking about is what if we did better in this situation or this situation, what if we did that here. And so that's kind of just always going to stick around. And
yeah, if you don't mind if I delve deeper into that, what were some things that you think you could have done better in both games?
I feel just intensity for the first game. I feel we all just walked out very slow. Even in our warm-ups, touching back, nobody was talking. Touches were off. Everyone was kind of just sluggish from the get-go, and I feel just as me personally, I could have done my best to try and help that out, get that intensity higher, but I feel I struggled with that part as well, and so it's kind of how that. And so the second game was definitely better for that intensity wise, and 3-2 or 2-3. It was a very close game until the end, and so it showed.
Did you feel the same way, Coach?
Yeah. You could tell something was up. Obviously, they were really amped up to go in play, and that was exciting. And you just never know. it's not the first time we had a moment like that throughout the year, and it just, it reared its ugly head at the wrong time. And I was really proud of how we bounced back on Saturday. But yeah, you could just kind of feel it. We, collectively, some things were off, and I think it was just, like the guy said, it's like our intensity, our effort. We always say attitude is, part of communication, and we weren't really communicating, and it was disappointing to say the least, because we've played so much better down the stretch here, especially, and that hasn't been a factor. And it's unfortunate you have those things happen, and that's just part of the game, and it's life, and unfortunately they Friday went the way that it did. I was proud of him for bouncing back. I think even the second half against Westminster on Friday, it was maybe not our best soccer, but we competed, and that's really what we were looking to do. We wanted to try to compete for every 50-50 ball and be physical like we had done, and that's kind of our strength. And we just didn't see that in the first half. And then, going against Orchard Farm on Saturday, you really saw the guys bounce back, and it comes from the leadership in these two guys, and that trickles down to the rest of our leaders. We've got a lot of leaders at different levels, different classes, but you saw a whole different group. And Orchard Farm, they were, I think they ended the year like 24-4 or 3 or something like that, and they play a really tough St. Louis schedule and play all classes. And so for us to go toe-to-toe with those guys, obviously shows a lot about our guys' character. And I think you look back and you go, hey, what could I have done different? But we're always really reflective and critical of ourselves, because we realize that reflection and being critical is going to help us move forward. And so, nobody takes it personal. We just, that's just the way we roll. We just critical and then go get back to the drawing board. So.
Yeah, well, to sort of bounce off of that in the opposite direction, what do you think are some things that went well about State? Is there any plays that stand out that you guys did amazing on, or players or anything?
There was plenty of moments everyone had throughout the games that really showed our strengths, even though it didn't combine collectively. And sometimes, real highlights, our offense played great defense at times, and that was really good. And that's something we've been struggling with throughout the year. Defense, our communication really came together in that second game, but like we said, it's all kind of things that happened maybe a little too late. Other than that, great PK by this guy right here. Really stood out. And we really did have good combinations throughout the entire games, and our pressure was, I would want to say, a highlight. Especially with those kinds of teams that like to possess a lot more, we were being a lot smarter.
Yeah. And then when you guys got down to State, obviously there was quite a bit of drive for Excelsior, definitely, to get down there. Were there a lot of fans in the crowds for you guys?
I felt like there was a good amount for the amount of time it takes to get there, 4.5 hour drive basically to get there. And that's dedication basically. If you have, just despite your families, there was people other than our families showing up there, and that felt great to just know that people were there to support us from that distance, because that's time, money, that some people just took out and just decided to take it to their communities, our soccer program. And so it felt good in the end, just knowing that they were there.
Yeah. So this was for you, Mason, just kind of looking back at your high school career. What are some specific fond memories that you have that you'll kind of cherish going into college?
Obviously State 3 years in a row. Definitely the biggest highlight of that. Definitely did not expect going into my freshman year that, man, we're gonna be going to State all 3 years. It was definitely one of the best feelings there was out there. But not just that, just spending time with my friends, some of my best friends, honestly, just day in and day out, 2 hours here, games. You get close with people, and that's what just probably spending time with all of them probably was the biggest part of it, because just brought us closer as one, basically. Same question for you. Is there any advice that you'd give to the younger players coming in kind of as a graduating senior, both on the field and kind of just off the field?
Yeah. That one hits home because his brother's going to be coming in next year. So.
That is true. Yeah.
It's one for you, Tyler.
Tyler,
whatever adversity really that you come across, basically, just keep your head high when it comes to it, because we're living proof that even at the beginning of the season, people can doubt you and everything with the group you have. You could still push through and do something 20 plus years of program hadn't been able to do. And that's what the sweet part about it is. It's just so yeah, just keep your head high in the end, and I mean the results will come if you just believe.
Yeah. So another one for you, Coach. Are there anything that you learned throughout the season that you do plan on heavily hitting on next year with the newcomers?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we are really good at certain things, and those are the things we really want to focus on going into next year as well. Is that we want our strengths to be our strengths, and to continue that. I think the next group coming in, we want to make sure that they can pick up on some of the fundamental things that we expect, especially defensively. But I think the other part of that is that, we want to grow the team as well, and so that's always something that we look back and, Coach McKenzie, Coach Carter, and I are really reflective. We'll meet here the next couple of days and reflect on where our program is at and ultimately where we want to go and, what steps do we want to take in order to get there. And I think that, having a big, strong, underclass group that's coming in, there'll be a lot of making sure that the transition happens smoothly and that we get them into some of our systems and the way we do things as well as we have this returning junior class that's going to be 8, 9, 10 strong. Hopefully, a couple of you I'm looking at get back out here. But I mean we've got a really strong junior class, and beyond that, the sophomore class is a solid group, and this last year's freshman class has got some potential. So it's just getting them into the things that we do really well, and then looking at the skills that they possess and what they can bring into our table, and ultimately trying to get the right guys in the right spots to be successful.
So this one's for the players. I believe both of you guys are on the Amigos team.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you believe that kind of helps you guys when you get to the high school level, having that earlier kind of club soccer to help practice?
Well, I know for me, that's what kind of got me back into soccer. Was in middle school I played with the Amigos, and that's where I really connected with people like Mason, Grayson, and all of them. Mm-hmm. And that's almost where most of our chemistry kind of stems from for those later years. And the people coming in, those 10 freshmen or 8th graders at this point, I know a lot of them play Amigos, so they have that team chemistry, which is such a vital part in what makes Tiger soccer so special.
Yeah, I mean, basically going back to just that chemistry part, I mean, you can some teams have that advantage where you can just throw in so many just good players because I mean you have that area, but I mean when you are in a small town like Excelsior, I mean you have to have those players that have that chemistry because if you don't trust one another, in the end, I mean the results just won't be there because it just won't ever come together. So, yeah.
Do you feel that it helps your program?
Absolutely. Yeah. Coach Wartner. Coach Corey Wartner. I was going to say Coach Wartner, and I said Coach Corey. But he's done a great job, and even before that, with Coach Mario, they've done a great job of, giving these guys an opportunity outside of the 3 months we get them. Ultimately, 3 months is hard to make all of this happen, and so the players' dedication outside of the 3 months and the other 9 months throughout the year is critical for our success. And the thing I love about our group is that you see them in the weight room, you see them in the summer off-season stuff, and they're the ones that are leading the pace and the intensity of the workouts, and they just feel like that's a huge part of what we do, and that it's organic. It comes from within, and those guys are the ones that are leading it. So, it's fun. I think that what they get to do outside is, again, continue to build their chemistry, playing with each other and knowing kind of where the other one's going to be on the field, I think is really, really important. So it's a huge part of who we are as a program, and we expect those guys to get after it in the off season, but it's even better that they expect it themselves.
Yeah. So you guys watch a lot of film for soccer, right? When you're going up against the other teams. How does that kind of impact your games? Do you think it helps a lot when you can see the film of how the other team plays before? Do you think it has little effect?
I think it helps us as a team a lot because personally it doesn't only show us what the other team's going to do, but what we might do in certain situations as a team to overcome certain adversities and certain things that other teams might be better than us at. But it really, at the end of the day, doesn't matter because we know we're going to go out there and we're going to play our best soccer.
Yeah, I think that's almost about all the questions I have. I think just kind of ending it off, just some general advice that all three of you would give to either people wanting to get into soccer, those newcomers, or just the community in general.
Yeah. I mean, just go for it, basically. If you ever have that little bit of doubt in your mind that, do I want to do it, do I not, just go for it. I mean, there's really nothing that can go, can't go wrong, honestly. I mean, it's just a great environment for everyone, and in the end, I mean, you make great friends. I mean, it's a good time, and so yeah, it's just overall just a great environment to be a part of, and that's what's important about that.
My advice specifically is come to the off-season stuff, whether it be a weightlifting or an open field. Either way, you'll get a taste for it, and you'll love it, and you'll want to stick with it the rest of the time.
Yeah, I just think it's the culture of the group is one that is fun to be a part of. These next 9 months are going to be weird without these guys because it truly is fun to get to push them every day. They're super receptive to it. They're super receptive to new guys into the program and accept them with open arms, and it's fun to watch the new guys get integrated with the returners because they're just a special group of kids, and so. I think that they said it really well, and that just take that jump, and new guys coming in, whether they're freshmen or sophomores or juniors or whatever. We love to have people come and join us. We like to win. We like to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of what we do, and it's a huge group of 8th graders. We say the same thing. We just expect that people get after it and work hard because that's a culture that we set, and we got goals we want to get back after this next year. So,
right. Well, you want to shine a light on any of those goals specifically, or are they kind of secret and wraps? For
no, I mean, as always, our goal is, we start every year is that our goal is to be a fast, strong, tough, disciplined team that consistently competes for championships. So, people like to say, we want to win a state title, and Deegan talked about that, and that's important, but ultimately if we're putting ourselves in the conversation early on in the tournaments that we play at Winnetonka, we play here, and we try to get in as many that we can, and we want to put ourselves in the final and see what happens, and so that's really the focus. If our goal was to play for, or win a state title every year, we'd be really disappointed for a lot of years, so we want to get in there and we want to see what happens, and then once we get there, we want to reset our goals and aim higher. But yeah, that's our focus this off season, and I know that Mason will carry a lot of that over to his next step, and we're excited for him, and especially our other seniors, Braden and Elijah and Tio and Ryan. It was great having those guys, and tough to replace, but they're such a solid group of kids. I know that these guys, the junior class of leaders that won't allow anything less than those guys' best. So,
yeah, alrighty. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you from the community. Everybody's really been excited. I know there's a good group of people watching online. So, anything else you want to say to the community before we sign off?
We would just like to thank our supporters throughout the whole year, the parents, the fans, the students who've come out to watch the games, whether it be rain or shine, cold or hot. Just overall for supporting us and everything. We would just like to send our highest regards to them.
Yeah.
I mean,
you nailed it.
Yeah, you said it well. I mean, it's everything. There's so many things that go on behind the scenes with parents. Our first and foremost, we to start there. We've got such a really good, strong parent support group, and that's where it starts. And then beyond that, these guys, there's a reason why they are the person that they are, and their extended families really. Are tremendous. They're supportive of not only them but our program, and then you move on to our teachers. You're walking through the hallways, there's always somebody to pat your back or ask how things are going, and then our administrators have been really supportive in this journey, and then even bigger when we went on the parade through town there as we were leaving, it's cool to see how many people care about our program and really ultimately Excelsior Springs Tigers, but everybody as a whole, but it's just special. The police department's there. You've got other community members coming out, businesses that are always supporting, and that's just all we can ask for. We feel really lucky and blessed to go represent Excelsior Springs, and we're just thankful to live in this community and be able to do those things for Excelsior Springs. So, thank you guys a ton.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next season.
Can't wait.